Добрий день, пані та панове. Ми розпочинаємо нашу сьогоднішню роботу.
Good morning, dear colleagues. We start our today's work with a briefing of the spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense, Viktoriya Kushnir. Good morning. I'm glad to see you at our briefing. First of all, the information about the purchases of armaments and military machinery for the armed forces of Ukraine. In 2015, according to the state budget, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine will channel 14 billion hryvnia to the development of the arms, which is almost a third of the defense budget. In 2014, this sum amounted to 3.9 billion hryvnia, or 14.3%. The necessity to increase the expenditure is linked to the current military and political situation around Ukraine and unsatisfactory situation with some armaments and military machinery whose age is over 30 years. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine is conducting purchases in strict accordance to the law and standards of the purchase procedure. According to the state defense budget for 2015, the armed forces of Ukraine will receive more than 500 main samples of armaments and military machinery, and over 300,000 units of means of destroying. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine was proceeding from factors and indexes used during the planning of the measures for the purchase of armaments. Besides, according to the obligations on 2014, this year the armed forces of Ukraine will get another 450,000 units of hitting means, 70 main and over 600 other samples of armaments and military machinery. According to the State Military Commission for 2014, before 30th of April this year, the delivery of heat visors to the armed forces of Ukraine will take place manufactured by the American company American Technologies Network Corporation. Also, the Ukrainian armed forces will receive heat vision binoculars, and sights of the Archer brand that are being produced in Ukraine from imported components by the Thermal Mission Technologies company. Simultaneously, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine initiated the amendments to the law of Ukraine about the State Defense Commission that pertain to the simplification of the order of commissioning and the lessening of the terms of its formation. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has passed to the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade the proposals about the introduction of changes to the law of Ukraine on the State Defense Commission and relevant resolutions of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. The main amendments proposed by the Ministry of Defense pertain to the lessening of the terms of confirmation and implementation of the 3-year period of the formation of the State Defense Commission, and also the issues of agreeing this with the Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Finance, and the introduction of the package of state preferences that will be attractive for enterprises who implement the State Defense Commission. The military units of the armed forces of Ukraine in the zone of anti-terrorist operation continue to receive the restored armaments and military machinery. Over the last week, the repairs and restoration brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the anti-terrorist operation zone have repaired 242 units of armaments and military machinery, including 11 tanks T-64 and 2 tanks BM Bulat, 4 self-propelled howitzers, 2 S-1 with Carnation, 3 infantry battle machines BMP-1 and 11 BMP-2, 7 armored personnel carriers BTR-70 and 1 BTR-80, 1 armored reconnaissance vehicle BRDM-2. Apart from these, 206 vehicles, including 71 Urals, 47 ZIL, 31 Gaz-66, 1 Kras, 22 KAMAZ, 10 MAZ, and 6 multi-purpose light armored vehicles MTLB-AT came back into order. So, since the anti-terrorist operation started, 21,148 units of armaments and military machinery was repaired for the armed forces of Ukraine. Out of this number, 19,849 units were restored by the repair and restoration brigades of military units. Also, 39 samples of armaments and weaponry and military machinery underwent modernization at state enterprises. The Ukrainian military, drafted during the 4th stage of partial mobilization, continued to train at testing grounds. In Zhytomyr region, the military who were drafted into the highly mobile commando troops of the armed forces of Ukraine parachuting from helicopters Mi-8 without armaments and equipment from the height of 800 meters. In the Navy, in the naval forces, the comprehensive tactical training continues, during which the vessels of the tactical group of the military, of the naval forces of the armed forces of Ukraine are conducting fire, targeting naval and air targets. This training is being conducted in cooperation with the air units of the air forces. The armed forces of Ukraine continue to receive help from partner countries. On Saturday, the military of the 79th Separate Air Mobile Brigade, 24th Mechanized Brigade and Battalion Karpatska Sich and 66th Lviv Mobile Hospital received modern reanimobiles from volunteers from Spain and Italy. The representatives of the Ukrainian community have handed over to Ukrainian fighters 4 ambulances based on minivans Volkswagen. Very soon those vehicles will move to the anti-terrorist operation zone. They all are in the excellent condition and are equipped with modern medical equipment. And now the word goes to Lieutenant Colonel Anatoly Stelmach, who is the officer of the press center of the headquarters of the anti-terrorist operation, and Vladislav Seleznyov will also talk to you, who is the acting chief of press center of the anti-terrorist operation. Do you hear us, Anatoly? Yes, I do hear you. So please start. Dear colleagues, I'd like to say that the night from the 9th to the 10th of March in the zone of the anti-terrorist operation, is characterized with the more active combat actions from the side of terrorists who were using high-caliber mortars and heavy artillery from 8 p.m. and until 6 a.m. on the 10th of March. The illegal armed formations have 12 times violated the ceasefire. The major blow of the enemy was concentrated in Donetsk sector. They have shelled from mortars and grenade launchers Avdiivka, Opytne-Pyski. Besides, from 9:53 p.m. to 10:45 p.m., the terrorists were shelling the city of Avdiivka from 152mm artillery systems that have to be withdrawn from the line of contact according to Minsk agreements. At 1 and 2 a.m., the enemy have again hit Avdiivka from artillery, and at 40 minutes to 1 a.m., the settlement of Tonenko was hit by artillery. In Luhansk region, the pro-Russian bandit formations have twice fired from small firearms at Sokolniki. In the Mariupol sector, next to the settlement of Shirokino, the combat was raging almost for the entire day. Starting from 9:30 a.m. and almost until 1 a.m., the terrorists have unsuccessfully stormed the positions of the Ukrainian military. The aggressive actions of the illegal armed formations and the use of mortars and heavy artillery again testified to the plans of terrorists to continue combat action and not to allow the peaceful regulation of conflict in Donbass. And now, Vladislav Seleznyov, as of 5 a.m., 10th of March, in Luhansk region, over the last 24 hours, the militants have twice violated the conditions of ceasefire. From small firearms, they were shelling, they were firing at our units next to the village of Sokolniki from 11 a.m. to 11:16, and from 11:35 p.m. The tensest situation was in Donetsk sector next to Peski, Opytne, Avdiivka, and next to Dutivska mine. 18 times the gunmen have violated the ceasefire there, shelling our positions from artillery, mortars, and grenade launchers. In Artemivsk region, 4 shellings and 1 combat clash took place over the last 24 hours, and for half an hour the combat clash was raging next to Mayorske, where we have repelled the enemy attack, and the settlement is under our control. Besides, the gunmen have twice hit our positions next to Troitska, and they also shelled our positions next to Luhansk. In the south of the anti-terrorist operation zone, there were 2 shellings of the positions of Ukrainian military next to Shirokino, and the battle was raging from 9:30 a.m. to almost 1 a.m. next morning. The attack of the gunmen was repelled, and the units that are situated next to Shirokino continue to halt the aggression of the enemy. Thank you.